Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hard Nine podcast. Today is June 27th, and we begin the day as the Cincinnati Reds come into town, 6 games out of first place and four above 500, coming off a nice 2-3 versus the Giants and the Braves.
Yeah, the Cardinals they're playing really well. Frustrating thing, you go into a series versus the Braves where obviously the hope is to win it. I didn't have any delusions of them sweeping, even though it would have been nice. And then you do that, you win 2 of 3, and you look up and you lost the game in the division. I don't know how the Brewers are doing this, but I tweeted this out yesterday. I was like, I have no idea how they're doing this, but I guess we just have to accept that it's going to happen because
Yeah, and you
they're
know what's
not going on a bad streak. It's just not happening.
how wild is it that they don't have Woodruff, they don't have Corbin Burns, and they don't have Devin Williams? Legitimately, they're three best pitchers over the last players, maybe over the
Yeah.
last 3 years. Now, shout out to William Contreras, shout out to Adamas. Christian Yelich is having a good year. But also shout out to Pat Murphy, who, by the way, is going to run away with and should be unanimous as of right now. Way too early. It's June. But as of right now, manager of the year in the National League. Maybe it's something in that voodoo right there at the manager position. Craig Counsell held it for years. He leaves. Cubs are trash. Brewers now, Pat Murphy, very good. They definitely have a system in place that seems to be working, a la the Tampa Bay Rays. However, we have seen this before where they get off to a great start and then come August are really reeling, and then before you know it are sort of irrelevant come the playoffs. So I tweeted the other day, I still think they're fugazi. I know it's hard, it's stupid to say that, and I understand that we're halfway through the season at this point, but I just don't trust them, and I guess it's because past experiences predict future outcomes for me.
No, I was talking the other day to someone on Twitter, and I was like, they're almost every player on their team is playing above reasonable expectations. Besides maybe Yelich and Contreras, because we know those two are good. Everyone else, every other hitter, I mean, specifically, is playing like well above what you could have expected reasonably. And so we'll
I
see if the
agree.
second half continues that way. But we're Cardinals podcast, not a Brewers podcast.
But hold on before you finish. They are 6-4 over their last 10. Cardinals are 7-3, so we have picked up a game at least in the last 10.
Great, from 7 to 6. Like it's so frustrating. I think we picked up one game. We picked up one game, and we're 4-5. No, what would it be? 4-1 in our last six. Yeah, we picked up one game.
You're really bad at math, but that's okay. We're all right with that.
Five and
Four and
one.
one.
Sorry,
There, 4
5-1.
and 2, but that's okay.
No, they swept the Giants.
Oh, I thought they took. Oh, they did sweep the Giants. That's right. That's
You're
right.
really bad at math.
5-1. My apologies.
Yeah, 5-1. They picked up one game. How frustrating. So annoying.
All right, where do you stand right now with this team? I came out in June 1st, like I said I would, and I told you that I still thought that they were for real. The other team that right now will not lose are the Mets, and then also honestly
Mhm.
the Padres are playing good
Yeah,
baseball. It does seem to. I'm. It's our again. We're only halfway. We still have half a season left, but it does feel like there's about four teams that are kind of separating themselves in that wild card race, where everybody else is just sort of playing at 500 baseball or below. I.e., the Reds, who are 3-7 in their last 10, coming into Busch for a 4 game series.
here's my proclamation. I think there are 5 teams that are going to be fighting for wild card spots the rest of the year. I think it's the Braves, the Cardinals, the Padres, the Mets, and the Diamondbacks. I'm discounting everybody else until they prove me wrong. Okay,
Yeah,
I don't
I think
believe in the
that's fair.
Pirates. I don't believe in the Giants at all. I don't.
No,
They're just playing and the Cubs are awful. But and my proclamation is I think the Cardinals are the best of the 5.
interesting. Okay,
I think they're a better team than the Atlanta Braves that's currently constructed.
okay,
Um, and mainly that's obviously because the Braves lost legitimately their 2 best players. Like that's why. So the
yeah,
Braves were a better constructed team. And even then, like Max Fried and Chris Sale and Reynaldo Lopez, who was awesome again yesterday, could separate them from the Cardinals easily. And I can hear that argument. There's something weird going on there in Atlanta. I don't know what it is, but everyone's underperforming besides Marcelo Zuna, basically, and their pitchers. And the Padres are just so flawed, and they don't have as many prospects anymore to trade as they did, and they shouldn't be trading prospects to be honest right now. The Mets, I don't know what to think of them. They were awful, and then now they're at back to 500. We'll see. And the Diamondbacks just kind of haven't gotten going all year long. So I think I take the Cardinals over any of those teams right now, especially if they can add in August.
With the Padres, it feels like they're going to get Darvish and Musgrove back.
Yeah,
That's a big plus for that rotation.
yeah, it is.
Also, probably to take some relief off of that bullpen, which at times has either been really, really good or has struggled. So
Yeah,
which by the way, you could say just about every bullpen in the major leagues.
their bullpen's been like especially volatile though. I think.
It does feel that way. With the Braves, I mean, I don't know what the move is to be made there. Like, obviously, you're also missing Michael Harris, so you could argue they're missing three of their top four players, on that team. Three of their top five players, however you want to
Yeah,
look
that's
at it.
it. You
That's
could
fine if
argue
you want
that,
to.
but I think Austin Riley and Matt Olson are better than him.
That's fine. And Olsen down year. Sean Murphy's been hurt.
Austin
He's
Riley's down
back.
here.
Yeah, so it is
It's
kind
been
of a weird
everyone.
thing there. I think it's gonna be interesting to watch this Mets team. And I said on our last podcast, I do believe they are for real, even though you did not believe that. And I could be wrong. They could just as easily go on a 9-game skid. But
I just don't know.
I almost think they're going to be buyers and sellers, which is odd because I could see them making some big deals because they're getting some pitching back and they got depth in that rotation. Guys at AAA were pitching well. I I think it's going to be interesting to see with Steve Cohen and their GM, which I cannot think of his name. I should know that right off the top of my head, but I do not. I think it's going to be interesting
David
to see what
Stearns.
they do.
David Stearns.
David
Yeah, I
Stearns,
don't
thank you.
know.
I could not.
I don't know what they're gonna do, and I mean, who knows? But like, I do want to get into some of these games. The Mets are just such an enigma to me. Like they could sell completely now still, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Looking at some of these games, so I don't want to go into the Giants series as much. They swept them. They beat Logan Webb and Jordan Hicks. It was impressive. The Cardinals are like, is Alec Burleson the guy that they have to rely on to drive in all their runs? Like, is that the only guy that wants to drive in runs on this team?
Especially with two outs. Like,
Him and
he
Donovan. Like that, it's just those two.
there is an argument to be made that Alec Burleson should be an all-star. He's not going to get it probably, but when you look at the
Yeah.
National League outfield this year, we talked about that on here before. It's not the powerhouse it used to be now that you no longer have Mookie or Bryce or Acuna out there. Like it's not the powerhouse. The depth isn't out there. And I should have looked this up before I came on and said this, but Burleson has to be in the top 10 in National League outfielders in a lot of offensive categories, I
Yeah,
would
most of
assume.
them, I think. I think he's
And
top 10 in most.
yeah, and so I mean, when you look at him, he's performing at an all-star level, to be honest with you, this
Yeah.
year. This year with what we're looking at. But what a godsend he has been. Everybody's talked about how he's hit everywhere. He struggled last year with the lack of playing time makes it so difficult for a young guy to come up and be consistent. Those guys, usually that's your veterans who can get away with that. But to be given full playing time this year, you're seeing what he can do. I just hope he keeps it going because his energy, I've talked on here before about the lack of energy that sometimes it feels like a lot of these guys have. The young guy's energy with Burley, with Wynn, now getting Willie back. Obviously, he's not a young guy, but that just seems to be infectious with this team because Nolan Gorman, Nolan Arenado, and Goldie just seem to be like this right now. Like they're just love. There's nothing. They're never too high, never too low. Obviously, Gorman and Nato struggling right now offensively, but the just what Alec Burleson has brought, also what Michael Ciani has brought. We've talked on here a lot about him, and but yet maybe not enough. What he is doing defensively in center field, I think I read a thing the other day that he is right now the best defensive outfielder or center fielder in Major League Baseball, like by most metrics.
Oh, yeah, he's the best. Yeah. He's going to want to go
I,
above if he plays all year.
I mean, for years people were yelling for Kevin Kiermaier. That's what you got out there. That's what you've
Yeah.
got right now out there is Kevin Kiermaier.
And he's probably
That's
been a
what
better
he's
hitter
doing
than
in center
Kiermaier's
field.
been this year.
I'm sorry, what?
He's probably been a better hitter than Kiermaier's been this year, too.
Right.
Yeah, he's been really impressive. I saw something where there's like a thing where it's like this is the amount of opportunities he had to like legitimately catch a ball. This year, there's been 5 of them that have dropped. All of them would have been considered 5-star catches if he made them.
Yeah.
So, and he's made like 10 5-star catches or something ridiculous. So he's been outstanding, and he makes a diving play every day. It's crazy. And also like Mason Wynn, Alec Burleson, and Wilson Contreras is such a fun top of the order. Like when Wilson's going, Wilson obviously he needs to get his timing back and everything like that. He didn't look great yesterday at all, but that's going to be a lot of fun. They need one of Goldie and Arenado to get back to being 25% above league average or something. One of them. Like I'm at this point, both of them is not happening. I think it's going to be Goldie. I don't think it's going to be Arenado. Like, what's it say about their faith in Arenado to get out of this that they're batting him 6th now?
We've talked about that on before, and you went out and you sent out a tweet, and we talked about it on here. He probably should be hitting 7th. Like if Nolan Gorman's performing, which he also is not, but
No.
that's what hurts you right now is with both the Nolans. They're real. That's what's hurting your lineup from, and they're still winning ball games. So when I say hurting your lineup, this team could be scoring even, I mean, greater runs. This is what we've talked about. We're just waiting for them to get back and get going. I just don't know if Nato's going to get going, and Goldie's just gonna. I just think he's going to be still below league average, which is okay. This year, league average way down, by the way.
I'm sure he's around league average now. He's being close.
Yeah, but like I said, league average weight offensively is down this year, and a lot of that has to do with injuries. But there's also something to be said. Who knows what MLB's doing with the baseballs? Like, who knows?
I think they need to look into making some rule changes. The last time offense has been this down was in like what was it, 64? Is that when Bob Gibson like
I think it was 67,
pitching
60.
maybe too
Yeah, that
pitching might
area.
be people are gonna hate this that I'm saying this. Pitching might be at that point again where it's too advanced. Something needs to give.
But they
Right?
have made rule changes. To be fair, they made the base bigger. They put the pitch clock in. Like, I mean, they
No, I'm
have done
talking about to
things.
help hitters from pitchers that are just obliterating them. Like
Yeah,
it's pitching is destroying hitting right now. It's not even close. It's not entertaining.
that's
So
although, yeah, I think with exit velos are up, but that's because pitching is
it's
the
because they throw
velocity is up.
harder.
Right. That's
Yeah.
what I just said.
It's when they hit it, I'm sure, but
Right.
contact rates aren't up. So something needs to give there. I don't know what it is. Like these hitters, there's an article that came out. Goldie and Arenado, funny enough, both were in it. They said these pitchers have so much data right now that they just don't throw bad pitches anymore. Like if you there used to be one of them said, I think it was Yelich that said this. He said pitchers used to not know that their fastball sucked. So they would just throw it and it would get killed. Because it was a fastball. So they would just throw it. He was like, now they just tell him not to throw the fastball. So he just throws me sliders the entire time. And his slider's really good. So that's why the head offense is down. These guys don't throw their bad pitches, and their good pitches are insane. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, pitching is
One
insane right now.
one big speaking of pitching, one big highlight for me over this last series was Matthew Liberatore being thrust into op- opening duty, but going 5 innings yesterday. Um, I mean that how big
Six.
was
He went
that?
six.
6 innings yesterday. How big was that for him? I mean, the way we've talked on here, it's widely been reported the way they've handled Matthew Liberatore has been damn near criminal in my opinion. But boy, I was so happy for him, and I put out a tweet yesterday. Having him out there makes you kind of a little nervous as a Cardinal fan when you lose game one. But I really was hoping he would shove, and shove he did.
Yeah, and the biggest part of that was one, he had a 60 pitch count going into the game. And so you assume that's like you hope to get 3 innings out of Liberatore on 60 pitches because he can run it up. Like he can go 25, 30 pitches in an inning. It's happened a lot of times. So you're hoping that. And then he shoves through 5 innings. He's at 60 pitches, and they let him go back out there, which I loved. To face the middle of the order, they faced Helnick, Albies, and whoever their nine hitter was. So they faced the top of their order, and he struck them all out. He struck out the side in a sixth inning of work when he was on a 60 pitch count. And he was well above 60. It was really cool to see. I don't know. Does it open a question in your mind about putting him in the rotation over Palante moving forward?
No, it for right now it doesn't. But I
Could
guess it
Palante
should.
do what he just did?
Well, he has, right? He went five
He
shutout.
hasn't, not like that.
Okay, then yeah. I mean, okay. Let me ask you this. Yeah, yeah. The answer I guess is yes. But boy, Liberatore in the bullpen is so valuable.
They
However, and
haven't been
I've
using him.
that's what I was just going. You really love to step on my points at all times. I appreciate that, by the way. I don't know if that's good that you think the way I do or not, but that is exactly what I was going to say because they don't. There's been times I've said to you, why is like this would be a good spot for Libby right now, and he's just sitting in the
Mhm.
bullpen. So I don't think you can hang on to those guys in hopes of we're going to get blown out and Palante starts so they can pitch. And I will say that conversely, if Libby is starting, you can't just hold on to Palante in hopes that if Libby gets blown out, you know what I mean? Like you've got to. This team for years has played shorthanded. It feels like 26. They gave you an
Yeah.
extra man, and it still feels like we only need 24. Don't worry about it. We'll keep 26. That two of them guys ain't playing. That's what it feels like this organization does. I wish we would stop that and let's go ahead and utilize all 26, no matter who it is.
Yeah, like John King should be that guy. To be honest, I know he's been good lately, but he should be the guy that
Sure.
they're doing what they're doing with Liberatore. I don't know if they're gonna do that, like if they're gonna put him in the rotation. It just, and I don't know if they should. I don't even have an answer because I'm very almost anti Liberatore starting. But man, if he could just bottle up what he did, he was throwing 96 in the sixth inning. If he can do that, he's going to be good. If he goes back and he goes out there and he's throwing 92 again, he's gonna be bad. He's gonna get crushed by righties. That's just reality. Like his last batter, he faced Ozzy Albies, who historically destroys left-handed pitching, and he struck him out. So that in the sixth inning last year or 2 weeks ago, even that's a home run, like or one of many who probably would have given up throughout the game. So I don't know. Palante's been whatever. Like he's giving you a chance. He pitches Saturday. I would say if he's horrible, that makes the decision easier. But I hope that's not the case. One thing I did want to talk about is I'm starting to expect the Cardinals to win close games. because they play so many close games that I'm used to watching them. Like even if they're down one, up one, I expect them to figure out a way to win it. And that's not something I was doing earlier this year. Last year, obviously, not something anyone was doing. But they figured out a way to win close games, and I think that's going to be valuable for them down the stretch. That all of these young guys like Burleson and Wynn and all these guys are used to pressure packed at bats, and they're used to pressure packed defense. And Helsley and all those guys have been awesome. I I mean, are you also expecting them to win when it's like 2-1 in the eighth? Like I expect them to win no matter if they're on either side of it.
I want to say yes, but they're still in the back of my head. Oh no, here we go again. I'm still shell shocked from 2023. But it sure does feel that way. Which let's talk a little bit about the bullpen. JoJo struggled lately. Kittredge has struggled lately, which I mean, with their usage early on, I think we kind of all saw coming. Helsley struggled lately. It was just like Ryan Fernandez, by the way, has been a godsend for this bullpen as far as I'm concerned. I'd like to see more Ryan Fernandez. Let me ask you this. A guy that you and I just kind of talked about the other day, who I don't know what your take is, and we are going to have Kyle and Kareem on same show, by the way, as we're going to do a draft preview and have those guys both on at the same time, which, by the way, should be must see podcasting as far as I'm concerned with those two guys on here. But Andre Granillo, like, would you start to think about him as an option? He has been incredible in Memphis. I mean, in 23 games, he has a 1.2 ERA and a 1 WHIP with 37 strikeouts in 30 innings, and he's 5-0. That just seems like a guy that to me is more valuable than other guys we might have in the pen. I know there's a 40-man issue there. I understand that, but that's been something we've been able to work through before. What are your thoughts on him? And it just seems like let's go ahead and get as many high leverage arms in here that we can to keep Kittredge fresh, to keep JoJo fresh, which, by the way, speaking to JoJo, that's why I sort of want to see Libby in the bullpen, but I'd like to see them use him in that 7th inning instead of just letting him sit on the bench.
Just in general with the bullpen, they should be more fluid with what they do. Like they shouldn't be so, oh, we like Kyle Leahy. I like Kyle Leahy too, but he has to stay up here. No, he doesn't. Sit him down. Call up someone else. If he can't pitch today and maybe can't pitch tomorrow, he shouldn't be up here. You should have someone that can pitch those 2 games so you don't have to throw out the same people all the time and get them hurt. Also, Giovanni Gallegos probably shouldn't be in this bullpen anymore.
Right.
DFA him. He should be gone. Like he's not good enough to be in this bullpen right now. I like Gio a lot. He can maybe catch on somewhere else. That'd be great. He threw 28 pitches to get through a non-stressful inning yesterday, like a non-pressure packed inning. 28 pitches. He needs to go. Like you have to have guys up here. You cannot keep doing this thing where you have one guy that we don't want to pitch in this situation because he's not good enough, and then 3 guys that can't pitch today because they threw too many pitches the last 2 days. Then call someone up. Like you cannot keep doing this. They're relievers. Like you cannot just have. I respect the loyalty. But for God's sake, do what everybody else does and have guys coming up and down every once in a while. Because if you're not going to, like, you cannot have, for me, almost like Kittredge and JoJo and Helsley, they can't pitch every game. So and this is twofold. One, it's decision making by the front office by not giving them fresh arms consistently. But also, this offense has to put teams away. Has to. You cannot continue to go 4-0 like they did on the game 1 against the Braves and then not score again. Like you had so many opportunities, you score 3 more runs. Guess who's not pitching that game? Ryan Helsley, Kittredge. It's that simple. And it also plays into the fact that they don't hit home runs. You get 2 guys on, and you hit a homer in the 6th inning of that game, and then you don't use any of those guys that are already beat down. So they need to start giving their bullpen a break by the offense scoring and just calling guys up like every other team does. I don't understand why they don't do it anymore. The Memphis shuttle ceases to exist for some reason.
Yeah. So with that being said, are you a yes on Granillo or a no? Because I didn't understand
yes,
it at
him
all.
And every other pitcher in AAA in the bullpen should be up and down.
Well, that's also, like I said, that gets back to a 40-man roster manipulation, but that's something Mo's got to be able to do. Like we have 5 catchers, I think, on our 40-man roster at this point. Let's maybe make a change there. Okay.
Gone.
Right. Bingo. That's what I'm saying. I mean, at some point we're going to have to let's be playing
Steven
to
Matz
win.
on the 60 day. Because you could probably move him to that if he's not.
Boom.
So there's a lot of things they could do.
Yes, I agree. It just seems like let's go ahead and get those guys up here, especially heading into the All-Star break. Let's get Kittredge and JoJo and Helsley some rest because they're going to need. I assume Helsley's going to be an All-Star. Like I would guess that he's going to be an All-Star.
Oh, I hope he doesn't pitch though.
Right, exactly. Well, I hope for him he does, but I get what you're saying.
He's already done it. He's already pitched in the game.
Yeah, I know, but still, that doesn't mean anything. You know that if you were
in an All-Star game, he goes and doesn't pitch.
There's
only 9 innings, so not everyone pitches. I hope he's the guy that doesn't.
Anyway, I think that's going to be an interesting thing. Miles goes tonight. Miles has been much better lately.
Really good. His last start wasn't
So
good, but before that, he was really good.
yeah, last start not great against the Giants. However, lately very very good. What are you expecting tonight from that?
From Miles,
Yeah,
um, well, I expect them not to hit Andrew Abbott because they can't hit lefties anymore. But I don't know. I think he's gonna be good. Probably 6 innings, 2 earned runs. 6 innings, 3 earned runs, something like that. Just the key with him is not to have a blow up inning. Like he'll pitch 6 innings, 5 of them he'll give up no runs, and one he'll give up 3 or 4, and you just hope in that one inning it ends up only being 1 or 2 that he gives up. Um, so I don't know. He's been really good. I have confidence in him to shut down the Reds. I don't think the Reds offense is particularly scary. Just don't hang pitches to Ellie De La Cruz or he'll hit out of the stadium. That's all
yeah.
you got to
De
do.
La
Just don't hang it
Cruz,
there.
Jonathan India has been much better lately. Spencer Steer
Yeah.
is always frightening. I mean,
Yeah.
Fraley can hit the ball a mile. Like they do have guys in that, and also J-Mark Candelaria has 14 home runs. So like he has
Yep.
been, they have pop now. A lot of arguments can be say, well, they play in that ballpark where a lot of balls go out.
I
I
think
understand
every
that.
Candelario home run I've seen has been to right field in that stadium.
Does feel like that is true. Tomorrow, then you get Frankie. Like the Reds pitching staff, obviously Lodolo hurt. Hunter Green, he's going to pitch Sunday, which means if you're the grounds crew, be ready to clean up puke on the mound. So that'll probably happen on Sunday. But Frankie Montas has not been good. As a
No.
Frankie Montas fantasy baseball owner, who did drop him, like he has not been very good. He had that great start in Colorado out of nowhere, which by the way just seemed very bizarre, and everything else has been mediocre to bad. Um, their bullpen does their bullpen frighten you at all? Like obviously you got
I don't
Diaz
think
out there
they
at the back.
no. Diaz is
Yeah.
not good. Shouldn't say it. Diaz is not a good closer in Major League Baseball.
Yeah,
So no, they don't scare me.
maybe he should start using sticky tack like his brother.
He probably does. He just probably does. Like I don't know how. I'm assuming that was not the first time Edwin's done that, so I don't know how that's the time they get him. It's
This
weird.
sure feels like a series where you need to take 3 or 4. If you're
Yeah, but it's so tough because they could easily lose two.
Yeah, but we just know that the Cardinals seem to own the Reds. If my memory is correct, and at times it's not,
They do.
but at home they own the Reds. Now, when we go to
Yeah.
Cincinnati, i.e., Adam Wainwright, we've seen guys struggle there. That park is just. I mean, I still have nightmares of one of my all-time favorite players. What Adam Dunn would just like. He would come up in the ninth and hit a ball that would end up in like 6 miles away from the stadium.
Him and
So,
Griffey.
yeah. But I also do remember Jim Edmonds' catches in center field in Cincinnati, who had epic moments there. But it just feels like at home we seem to own them. This feels like a series
Mm.
where it's set up to win 3 of 4. You got Miles going on tomorrow. You've got what, Lance, and then you've got, or no, I'm
No,
Palante. Sorry, then Lance. Oh no, Sonny. Good lord,
no, Sonny.
and then Lance. Okay, sorry, I was
Yeah.
off a day. Palante against Montas. Take the over.
Yeah, the Cardinals kill Frankie Montas. They always have. I think the Cardinals have to win the first 3 games. Sunday's gonna be tough. Like that's in the middle of a long stretch of games. It's their last game of that stretch. And Hunter Green versus Lance Lynn. Obviously, I'm gonna give the advantage to Hunter Green in that situation. So
Yeah.
the first 3 are gonna be important, especially today. Like you can't if you lose today, it's really tough to win 3 or 4.
What
That's the
night are they
thing about
wearing
4 game
City
series.
Connects?
I have no idea.
Because they're
Who's that?
undefeated. So let's go ahead and get those on every night.
Yeah, no, then you're messing with the juju because you're gonna lose if you have them every night.
Agreed. I obviously was being facetious there. I just feel like we make our predictions, and I have dominated you all year in this. So I'm gonna say that they're winning 3 of 4. I just feel like that it just sets up that way. Here's what I hope, that they blow them out 1 or 2 games, because we can't have Helsley pitching 3 nights. We just can't do it.
No, they better not do that. Like have Fernandez close the game if that's the case.
I agree
Um,
with that, by the way, but I would love to see Granillo up here, man. I just give him a shot. He's been dominant. If we're giving Leahy and we're giving
Roycroft.
Lotus and Roycroft and all these other
Roycroft
guys
been pretty good, by the way.
no, no shade on any of those guys. I'm not saying that. Just
They've
feels to me
actually
like
all been pretty impressive.
this guy has deserved a call up, is what I'm saying. Also, by the way, can we go and get Lucan Baker up here for some at bats against the lefty late in the game? By the way, shout out to my guy Lucan, who broke the Memphis Redbirds home run record. He is now the Crash Davis of the St. Louis Cardinals. Not necessarily what you want to
No,
be.
Stubby Clapp.
Well, no. Did you not understand the
Stubby Clapp
reference?
was like the journeyman. No, I don't understand it.
Oh
No,
my God. Have you
sorry.
not seen the movie Bull Durham, bro?
Not
Like
for
what?
like 7 years.
Who are you? Do you even like
Well,
baseball?
do you watch that movie every year? I haven't watched that movie in
Every
like
year.
7 years.
Every
No,
year
you
when that
don't.
movie is, I watch it every year.
Okay,
But
well,
yeah,
explain
you're
then.
he's now the Crash Davis of a guy who only hits home runs in the minors and then gets a cup of coffee at the show. I just think here's the thing. Once again,
Johnny Pep is fitting there.
we go back to roster manipulation. To me, Luke and Baker gives you more than Jose Fermin does. That's what I'm going to say because at least he's a threat off the bench late in the game. We have nobody from the right side who does that. Nobody.
Yeah, not until Herrera's back, but yeah, I agree. Are we predicting this here? So you said
I'm taking
three or
3 of
four?
4, and the guy that I am taking is Brendan Donovan. I just have a feeling that he's going to have a massive series for the Cardinals. It just seems like it's set up. I think is it one lefty and 3 righties. I think is what we're facing. Just seems like it's set up for him to have a good series, and he hits lefties well anyway.
Yeah, he does. Well, better than righties actually. I'm gonna say they went 3 or 4 as well, because I don't want to say split, and I don't think they're gonna sweep them. But my I'm gonna say Mason Wynn has a big series. Why not? He's been
Okay.
fun. I don't. The problem with him is he doesn't hit home runs. So like, how big can it really be if other guys are hitting homers? But actually, what? I'm changing it. Nolan Gorman. That's my answer.
Oh, I hope you're right, bro.
He does this. He's gonna get cold and he's gonna get really hot. I
Yeah,
think his hot streak just needs to last longer next time because his hot streak
yeah.
was only like 10 days. It was really
Do,
hot, but it was only 10 days.
do you as much as I do, and I guarantee this isn't a thing, but it's a thing in our head because we're fans and this is what we want to happen. But do you just wish that Mason Wynn hears all the noise about the comparisons between he and Ellie De La Cruz, and he comes out and just says, "Yeah, motherfuckers, I should be in the All Star game over this guy." Do you wish that would happen? Because that would be so awesome if he did. Like that's something Yachty would do, right? Yachty heard the noise and
Yachty
Yachty
would
showed
actually
up.
say it.
Huh?
Yachty accused Major League Baseball of being racist, and because Johnny Bench, they wouldn't let him get the same amount of Gold Gloves as Johnny Bench.
I mean that right, but you kind of wish that I hope that's in the back of Mason's Rolodex and that great big old brain he's got, and that he just comes out and does show off for the weekend because him versus Ellie, if that happens, man, that's going to be baseball tonight. That's going to be MLB. That's going to be headline fodder right there. I'm on it.
Yeah, I hate this. I hate the Ellie versus Mason thing because Ellie De La Cruz is an all-star. Like
I agree. They're both all
I
stars as
think
far
they're
as I'm
both
concerned.
all-stars. Yeah,
Yeah.
they are. So I hate when people are like, well, he shouldn't make it. They're both all-stars. They're both really good and fun young players. But yeah, that would be great. I don't think he cares.
Let me ask you this. Speaking of that, this is a little bit swaying the topic, but not really. We're sticking to the topic. Do you believe the NL Central has the best? Did we already talk about this? The best stable of shortstops in Major League Baseball in the conference in
We
the division.
like what?
Like, do you believe that they have the best? It's the best shortstop division in baseball. Let me say that.
um, Probably.
I mean,
I'd have to think about it.
Ellie, Dansby, Mason, O'Neill, Cruz.
Dansby, gross.
Yeah, but I'm
Um,
just saying, like, obviously, you're talking about a winner and then who am I forgetting
yeah,
here?
it's probably the best.
Why did I just have a brain fart on
O'Neal Cruz.
who oh, Willie Adamas. Good Lord, had a brain
Oh
fart
yeah.
on Milwaukee's. Like that's a really I mean, those are some fun young shortstops that this
Mm-hmm.
division has. I mean, shout out to
There's not
us.
this star power there though, where there's other people with like Bobby Wood Jr. and
I disagree, and the only reason is Ellie De La Cruz has been propped into the star level.
isn't close to Bobby Wood Jr.
I'm
or
not
Gunnar
arguing that.
Henderson.
That's not what I said. That was not what I was saying.
That's
I
what I'm saying
said
when
that
I say
they
star power. I'm saying like there's like Bobby Wood Jr. and Gunnar Henderson like top 10 players in baseball, at least like 100.
if you were to ask a casual fan to name the three shortstops, I think Ellie De La Cruz is one of the three. That's what I'm going to say.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I
I
I
think
do. I
Corey
think it would
Seager would be
be
up there
Bobby Witt,
for him.
Gunnar Henderson, and Ellie De La Cruz. That's
I
what I'm
think Corey
saying.
Seager would get brought up a lot, but
That's
maybe I don't
probably
know.
true. But I was just thinking about this the other day when I was looking at like the rankings of shortstops, and I think at one point 4 of them were from the NL Central. Like when you looked at the
Yeah,
top 10. I mean, that's
and one of
that's
them's gonna leave. Willie's because I don't think Willie stays with the the Brewers. Do you?
no one stays with the Brewers, bro.
Yeah, right. Except
No one
for
stays with the
Brandon
Brewers.
Woodruff just keeps coming back for some reason.
You talked about Willie coming back, and obviously, what he come back in 4 weeks instead of the 8 to 10 or
I
whatever it
think it
was
was
that they
six. Is what
six
it
weeks. What
was.
either way, 2 to 4 weeks early. Um, I heard a stat the other day which really caught my mind or my head. You know, he leads catchers in OPS since the beginning of 2022. All of catchers.
It's not surprising to me at all.
That's that's
He's a
something.
stud. Like him and
Yeah.
his brother are the two best offensive catchers. Well, Adley's been awesome this year, so maybe those three. But no, that doesn't surprise me. He breaks, man. That's what he does. Like that. He's not slowing down either. Like, I am a bit worried. His swing looks off right now, so that either could be he's just not comfortable yet, or he's still a little hurting. I don't know. I hope that's not the case because he did come back really fast, as you said. Um, but yeah, he's awesome, and to have an RBI single in that first game, it should have been an error maybe, but it was still an RBI single. They counted it. It was a really cool moment for him. Um, Maybe move him down the order a bit before until he starts to get going a little. But yeah, it's exciting. I don't know. Maybe just keep batting third because what's Goldie gonna do? Hit a
I think it's a
single?
timing thing, to be honest with you. I think it's just all like these
He's
guys are
swinging over
such.
balls. It's weird.
Well, I mean, that's part of timing.
Like
Like
over
that's
fastballs.
yeah.
It's very strange.
Well, you brought this up yesterday when we were. I don't remember where we were. We were maybe at the golf course yesterday, and you brought this up and said, "Why? Like it feels like this team does not hit fastballs well, and that's not a good thing in 2024 baseball. Like that's
No.
something they're like Nolan Gorman misses balls right down the middle, and I know I love Nolan Gorman. Everyone knows this. You said it yesterday, and I think you were 100% correct. You just leave him in the lineup and let him figure it out because you got other guys around him who are producing. By the way, it just does suck when Nolan Arenado's not because if he is, nobody's even thinking about Nolan Gorman. Like they really aren't because then at the end of the year, you look up and he has 25 to 35 home runs, and you're like, oh, and almost an 800 OPS. Nobody's going to forget about the slumps because people love to focus on the negative in as a fan, which is ridiculous to me.
And they are
However,
frustrating. They are
yeah,
frustrating to watch.
no argument. But at the end of the year, that culmination could be right where you want Nolan Gorman to be as a
Yeah.
second baseman in Major League Baseball 2024.
I mean, we say we know what Nolan Gorman is, and then when he does exactly what we know he's going
We
to
get
do,
mad.
we get angry. Like
Right,
we know what he is.
right.
I would I'd love for him to ascend into stardom and be closer to Kyle Schwarber than he is to Joey Gallo. Yeah, but I don't know if he's going to do that anytime soon. He's only 23, by the way, 22, whatever he is.
Right. Agree. That's the thing to keep in the back of your head at all times that people love to forget. Let me ask you this. So Tommy sprains an ankle because of course he does. And I they did say no significant setback. Like that's nothing. They're not concerned about this.
It's
I
wild.
just think here's what I think. Get him back after the All-Star break. Let's
Yeah,
not even
I agree.
after let's get him through the All-Star break. Let's get him back then. And I do think and I know you will argue with me, and I'm okay with that. And I think that you and I came up with this answer. I almost think at that point you have to platoon Ciani and Tommy Edman in center field, and I because what Ciani has done, and then you just let him hit against righties, and you let Tommy hit against lefties, or however you want to work it out, and then Tommy can give Mason days off at shortstop, like he's
Yeah,
instead of I mean. Brandon Crawford has not been bad, by the way. Like everybody wants to
he's been
shit on
fine.
Brandon Crawford. He's been pretty good. I do think
Do
that
you
you
DFA
think
him or do you keep him around?
that that's the you you just got to the question I was coming to again. I
Oh,
don't
that
know that
Crawford.
answer.
I don't either. Like I think it just depends, man. With Jordan walking on this roster, you can kind of afford to give him a roster spot. I don't know. Like I feel like you're kind of just at that point with Tommy's back, you're just dangling him around until like he's gonna be DFA'd at some point. He has to be because there are guys that are gonna be like when Newt's back, Edmonds back, and unless they just don't plan on bringing Walker back this year, which might be possible. But I don't think that's the case. Then like he's gonna have to leave at some point, right?
So when Newt comes back, who is the odd man out right then? Let's just try to work our way through this really quickly.
Um, Probably
For me,
Fermin. I would
okay.
think, yeah.
So then when Tommy comes back, this brings it down. I'll be honest. This brings you down to Dylan Carlson versus Brandon Crawford. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, Dylan Carlson just provides more value. Like he can play good defense in the outfield and can hit lefties. And
So
like is Brandon Crawford, we have too many lefties on our bench.
so then
So
that just answered what I'm saying is that just answered your question then.
yeah, but will they do that?
Well,
Here's the
what's
thing. Here's the question you need to ask. If they're gonna have Tom Hammond be an everyday center fielder, the question they need to have and they need to answer is whether they believe he can also be a backup shortstop and an everyday center fielder. And I don't think they'll want to do that. So if
which
he's on
goes
the
back
yeah, but they're
to
not
my
gonna do what you're saying. I don't think. I
So you
don't.
think you think they're going to remove the best defensive center fielder in baseball who has saved our pitching staff an
For Tommy
umpteen amount
Edmond,
of
who they
runs?
love, yes, I do.
Okay,
What they probably need to do is trade Tommy Edmond, if we're being honest.
and Dylan Carlson.
You can't trade them both. You need some. We need one of them.
If you're going to bring up Walker, you can.
Walker's not going to be on the bench, so no.
Well, he wouldn't be. He'd be in right field, and Burley would be your DH.
Then who's on the bench to come in to play defense?
Okay, that's a valid Brandon Crawford.
You know you need a bench. You need a fifth outfielder and a fourth outfielder on your team.
I don't think you
I
need
think.
five, but you definitely need four. I
I
agree
think
with
you
that.
do when you're DHing one of them.
Okay, that's valid. Um, I just think here's what concerns me, and this should concern probably most of the Cardinal fans, is their inability to manipulate the roster correctly. Like it's always a flawed 26 or a flawed 40, always with
Yeah,
this team. And when we get to the playoffs, don't even get me going. How many times have we gone to a 1 game playoff where we're playing with 24 guys instead of 26,
because we
which
have
makes
6 starters on our team for no reason.
agreed, agreed that they're not going to use out of the bullpen
Yeah,
just in case they win. I
like
100%
Jack
would
Flaherty in
yes,
2021, it made no sense that he was on
I
that
mean,
team.
you can go back as far as Michael Waka in 2013, like or 2014, 12,
Hey, they
14.
used him.
Well, the worst time you could ever use him is when they used him. So that's what it goes back to. That's my concern. I don't know that I trust this team. Does Dylan Carlson have options to go to AAA? Like, is
I
that
would assume, yeah,
something?
he definitely does.
I mean, if we're going to be honest, he's the odd man out unless you're going to DFA Brandon Crawford. And I don't know that that's on their mind right now because Brandon Crawford has outperformed Dylan Carlson.
Oh yeah, by a long shot too. Even against lefties, it seems like.
I agree. That's what I like. So if you're going to manipulate the roster the right way, then I think you have to keep Brandon Crawford on here and Dylan Carlson goes to AAA. I don't think that's something I would have ever said, by the way, until right now.
No, and I also don't even know. Like Crawford's going to be gone eventually. I think. I really do believe that. Just because I think it's an inevitable thing where he got to a roster that was injured, so he can make the team, and then it's kind of like when guys come back, like they're going to commit to Tommy Edman. They just are. I do. I am curious though. Like maybe they do believe Tommy Edman's best role is against lefties and playing anywhere you can put him, whether that's second base, shortstop, center field. I just don't know if they're going to do that with him because they like him a lot. And also, if you want to trade him, you don't want to have him on your bench. So,
Yeah.
both thoughts.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, let's talk about trades quickly before we get out of here. Um, let me ask you a guy's name, and let me just see if you're interested at all. And that's Vladdy Jr. Are you interested there at all?
And trading for him?
Yes. No.
No.
Just like in him being a
Well,
human.
no, I'm not really, to be
Okay.
honest.
It
He's
feels to me
awesome.
like
He's having a great year.
that Toronto is going to blow this motherfucker up here very
I think they're
quickly.
keeping him. I think they'll trade everyone else.
Really, I think they're trading him. I think they're going to trade him. I think they're going to trade Bichette. I think Bichette's
I
going to be a
don't.
Dodger. I think Bichette's going to be a Dodger before August 1st.
He's been
That's what I would
he's
say.
been bad. I don't think they're trading Vladdy. I think they're going to
Okay.
extend him. There's
All
no
right.
reason to. Why would they? Why would they trade him? Like, make him your cornerstone player. Give him
So
two
you
hundred
brought
whatever
up a
million
name
dollars.
on Twitter and to me the other day. It's Chris Bassett. Kevin Gosman might be a guy that's going to be out there now. I know his velo. I think I read something about his velo being down a little bit.
It's yeah, it
That's
is.
always a
It was
concern
down
when
last year too.
yeah, that's a concern. Chris Bassett feels like a guy who should have already pitched for the Cardinals, if we're going to
Yep,
be honest, because like, he should have already been there. Um,
he's
I
awesome.
just have a feeling that they're going to. They've already traded Biggio, who's already a Dodger. I just feel like those guys. I mean, I don't know what you do with George Springer. That contract doesn't travel, and he's
You pay
34
him the
years
rest.
old.
You might
Kind of
just want to
stuck with
pay
him
him to go
to
on
leave.
vacation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, no, Bassett's a great option for the Cardinals. I think he has like a 3.4-ish ERA right now. Like he's a guy that can legitimately perform next to Sonny Gray. Like he's not as good as Sonny Gray, but I think he has the ability in a big game to perform like that. So that's the target. Honestly, right now, that's my number one target that I think they should go get. If Gosman's available, I like him a lot. I think he's gonna get traded for a lot more and might have more downside. Then Bassett has more upside, but I think he has more downside as well. Bassett's just steady. Like that's a guy that the Cardinals get like a Quintana, like a Montgomery that has a 2.5 ERA in the second half. And then he's like, oh, there we have a number two starter now. Like that's one of
Right.
those guys. So I
Yeah.
think he'd be great. Also, how much would he fit in with the rest of the rotation? Just look at him.
You, what
I'm
are you
not going
trying to
to
say there?
elaborate any further.
What are you trying to say there?
I'm not going to elaborate.
Um, well, with Luzardo going to the 60-day, like, and he's been so bad this year. Like that
Yeah,
really screws.
which sucks because he was the one I wanted.
That hamstrings the Marlins too. I think. Like I don't know what
Mhm.
you like. You almost have to hang on to him for another year. And I know he's under control
Yeah,
for another 2.5 years with everything else that they can do with him. But Crochet, a team is going to in my opinion, they're going to drastically overpay for Garrett Crochet
give
because
me the
right now
Dodgers.
I think it's going to be the Orioles. I really truly do because
Why didn't
I
they
just
get
feel like
Dylan
they
Cease?
know
Can someone explain that to me? Why
the
they didn't trade
Yankee
for Dylan Cease?
the Yankees are just like falling off of a cliff right now, and they'll be back. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, they're
Their
not
lineup
good
looks
at.
bad.
They're not good at all. Rizzo's hurt. Um, Gleyber Torres, like he doesn't
Doesn't
even
this
play
doesn't
anymore.
this feel like 2022
It really does, and I think if
when they
you're the
start off great
Orioles,
and then we're
like
bad?
seize the moment right now in the American League. I mean, obviously the Mariners are really good. They've been linked to Pete Alonso and guys like that. I don't know that that's a Mariner type deal.
No.
It could be, but I don't know. Um, I just think Eric Crochet and maybe another piece end up in Baltimore. They've got the pieces to trade for him. They want to put a guy with Burns, which makes so much sense. I'm just simply saying, to me, it's buyer beware with Garrett Crochet, a guy who's never thrown more than 60 innings in his career. That was out of the bullpen. I, I just don't know. I don't know what you do there.
He's a special talent, but it's
I've
just it's a
100%.
trading for a guy down the stretch run. You've got to be confident that he can do it. He can last, especially if you're going to be in a playoff team. Like the Orioles are going to be in the playoffs. They're probably going to be the 1 seed because I think they're going to win that division. I think they might be in first place right now. I haven't checked. Either way, I think they're going to win that division. So you need a guy that can be able to go through the World Series. That's their goal. Like the Orioles have just as good a chance as anyone in the league to win the World Series this year. And if
Yep.
you if Garrett Crochet is that guy and you believe it, great. But I just don't. I don't know. Didn't you ask him to almost throw 220 innings the
Yeah,
whole
I think
entire year,
so.
maybe more? Like that's a
Orioles,
lot
by the
to
way, are
ask.
currently a game back of the Yankees.
Yeah, they're
They
gonna
have
win that division.
Orioles are 4-6 in their last 10, and the
Yeah,
Yankees are
I
like
don't
2-8.
because they got swept
Um,
by the Astros, right? It was weird. They're gonna win that division, I think, though.
yeah, I think so. I think they're by hands down the best team. I just think that they're definitely going to make an addition, and it just seems like Garrett Crochet is the only, honestly, unless Justin Verlander or Max Scherzer become available, and even then, I don't know that that's a guy that Baltimore goes after because I think they've got to like the control, knowing Baltimore and knowing Elias out there, they've got to like the control of Garrett Crochet. Um,
You
that's all
probably.
I would say.
That's why I didn't go for so much. What do you, what do you think about Verlander and Scherzer? Would you trade for them?
If I'm the Cardinals, 100%,
I don't think
100%.
Scherzer gets traded, but Verlander I could see getting traded.
Yeah, it just depends on what if Houston gets hot these next couple
They're
weeks.
starting to get hot right
They are.
now.
They played really well the last week and a half. If they start to get hot, they're not a team that likes to sell. Like they have said we
No,
don't rebuild, we
they
retool.
know what it
So
looks like when they rebuilt and how long it took. It took them like 10 years. Do you remember
I mean,
that?
right
They
now
were
they are
awful.
only 3 games out of the wild card and they're 8-2 in their last 10. So I don't see them I just don't see them doing that unless they fall off a cliff. I think they're right there in it in that
Yeah.
wild card, and that might be
And
a
I'd
team that
take them
even
over the other
adds.
teams. Like I would take them over the Royals. I like the Royals story, but I'm taking the Astros experience over them in a heartbeat to go down the
I think
stretch.
everyone would. I think
Yeah.
everyone would.
And I'm
So
rooting for the Royals. I hope they get in, but
I could honestly see Scherzer getting dealt before like you said, I could see Scherzer getting dealt before Verlander.
the thing about them is they're just going to keep holding on to hope because guys are going to keep coming back from injuries.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. The Brewers just swept them, so maybe they are going to fall on their face and then trade some guys. Who knows?
they're 6 out of the. By the way, they're 6 out of the wild card. The Rangers
Yeah, I mean,
are.
they have another bad couple of weeks. They could be 10, and then you're looking at definitely trade them.
Yeah, yep, I agree. You and I think it's gonna be interesting to see what Arizona does. Do they believe that they are players like we kind of think they are? I think
They
they do.
should. They
I agree.
should.
I
The
agree.
problem is if Corbin Carroll is not going to be good, they're not going anywhere.
Well, he's starting to hit. He's starting to hit lately. Like
For
he hasn't been.
power,
No,
then
no
no.
power.
Then that's not what I'm talking about. He needs to be a superstar.
Yeah,
Like he needs to be the star with Ketel Marte, and he
right.
hasn't been. Ketel Marte's been
Well,
awesome, by the way.
Christian Walker has been that guy.
Christian Walker's not the guy that you can depend on every day to be a star.
He's pretty doggone good.
Did you watch him in the playoffs?
Yeah, well, okay. Have you watched Nolan
Looks like he'd
Arenado and
never
Paul
swung a
Goldschmidt in the
baseball
playoffs for the
bat.
Cardinals?
I never said you can depend on him to be a star in the playoffs, did I? And actually, I did watch Paul Goldschmidt rake off the Braves in 2019. I did watch that happen.
5 years ago. Thank you for that. That was good.
Okay, when did Christian Walker do it?
He's been in them once.
Makes you
He's been
think
in the playoffs once.
because he's not a star that can lead his team to the playoffs. I
All
like
right.
Christian
Anything?
Walker. I just think
Um,
Corbin Carroll is the star that they need to ascend.
Last thing, and we don't have to spend too much time on this because I know it makes you uncomfortable, so I don't want to do that because you
What is
don't
it?
like these
Is it
topics.
Trevor Bauer? I don't want to do it
No,
again.
God, no. I don't. I wasn't even going to say his name, and you brought it up. So no, zero chance.
You
I'm never
always,
even
you always
I'm
do.
never talking about that human again.
Thank
Like
God.
I got
Bro.
attacked for that, so
Okay,
I'm not
enough.
gonna.
Next.
Either way, yeah, that was on you. Any thoughts on on Hockman's interview with Ali and some of the things that he said?
Oh,
Things that you and I have talked about in private for the most part. Things that have been sort of on my mind with Ali, as far as how a lot of people view him. We don't have to get deep into this because that's not what we need to do. We're not a political show and we're not into that. But do you have any? I just want to know, as a journalist and as a Cardinal fan, if you had any thoughts on that interview. Which, by the way, shout out, great interview by Ben Hockman.
yeah. Ben. I like Ben Hockman a lot. He's really good
Same,
at what he does.
same.
I respected Ollie's candor because he didn't have to say anything. Uh, my main takeaway is if you're doing anything like that, you're calling him racial slurs at during games, just you're a bad human being. Like that's like I can say more and I can say, go off and berate people that do that. You're just a bad person, and I hope you know that. And it sucks that he's dealing with that. It's not surprising to me, and that's not like me trying to say something about the Cardinals fan base. Just humans in general. There are people that do stuff like that all the time, and I'm sure he had to deal with that all through the minor leagues. I would guess. So it sucks. I I don't know really what else to say about it. Like I do think there is a little bit of people probably don't like him because of that. That's just life, right? That's everyone.
Mhm.
Like watch some of the way that NBA players talked about. And the reason behind that it's not in why some people love Luka Doncic but hate all of his teammates. Like I wonder
Right.
why that is. Um, so it sucks. I think he's handled it well. I'm hoping that the way he's managed this run that they're on, like 1-2 run games every night, and they're winning a lot of them. Hopefully, people are starting to come around on him because I do think a lot of his criticism, one, either stems from stuff that he can't control, or this Mosaic. I think that's a lot of it too, is people don't like him because of Mo. So I don't know. It sucks. I really do respect that he came out and said it. And also, one more thing: people that were on social media saying he was lying,
Right. You're
you're
also
you're outing yourself as one of the people that probably does it. So there's
correct. And
that.
you're also, by the way, an awful human being.
It's
So
just stupid. You're just
yeah,
dumb. Why would he lie
yeah,
about that?
yeah. They pay. I'll tell you, those people pop up quickly, man. It doesn't take much to get them
It's
to pop up.
wild.
Say
Like
Jack
Twitter is
Flaherty
such
on
a.
Twitter, and they will come out of the woodwork.
I think we just have to realize Twitter's not a real place.
No, and it's just like
Like
it's a bunch of cowards on there who would never say anything to
apparently they
anyone. Or
would.
no, they wouldn't because they're in the stands and they know that there's 48
Yeah, right.
people who would stop
So,
them before
also,
that would
one more
happen.
thing: attendees and everyone at Busch Stadium. You need to be standing there by the first base dugout every single day, and you
I
hear one
agree
thing like that, they're gone for life, never
for
back.
life. Yep, yep.
Like that. Like if you hear that that's happening, you guys need to be standing by the dugout and figuring
And
out
go
who's
ahead
doing
and
it.
dox the hell out of them if you want. Go ahead and put their faces all over the place if you'd like.
Put it
I'm
on
okay with
Busch
that.
Stadium, say not
Right.
allowed in.
This guy
Like
right here said, yeah, right there.
yeah,
That's what we should do.
like that needs to be happening. I hope that's
Yep,
happening now that this has been said
yep.
outwardly because that's
Also,
not
you
acceptable.
work there. My experience with the attendance at Busch Stadium has always been amazing. Like
They're good people.
99.9, they're
Yeah,
great. I think
they
they do
also
a
just don't want to get
fantastic
into
job.
conflict. They're most of them it's a retirement job. Like they don't want
Of
to do that,
course.
but
Like
some of them do.
I
Some of them do want to get in conflicts, but that's not all of them.
no, agreed. All right. Anything else you need to get into before we get out of here? I just kind of wanted to hit on that. Like I said, you're obviously this close to being a real journalist. What we do on here is sort of fake journal. No, I'm just kidding. Um, but
It's
I
not
just
what
kind of
we
want
do
to
on
know
here
what
is
you thought.
not
I thought
journalism
also
at
shout
all.
out to Ben for like asking the question. Like, he
Yeah,
didn't
shout out to
phrase
both
it.
of them, honestly.
Yeah, I
Like for
thought it was
Ali
really
to
well
answer
done.
that, I respect that a lot.
That's a tough
Because it would have been easy for him
conversation.
to just move on. Yeah, it would have
The
been easy
tough
not to say
conversation a
anything.
lot of people don't like to have, and when we have found out that a lot of people do not like to hear it for many reasons.
And
So
it's an unfortunate one that we're still having. Like we shouldn't be having this
yeah,
conversation anymore.
right. Yep.
Especially St. Louis, a city that's been known to have so many cultures in it. Like
Yeah. So
also the hypocrisy of loving, and I guarantee that person was probably wearing a Yadier Molina jersey.
I almost said it. Do you think that guy was wearing that?
Like
Those guys are wearing Yachty or Albert
Albert
or
jerseys. Like
right? Yes.
it's ridiculous. I don't get
Yep.
it. Whatever.
No.
All right, we can
No.
get out of here.
All
Cardinals need
right.
to win 3 or 4 this weekend because
Uh,
they do that. They accomplish two things. One, they push the Reds even farther down, and also that means they go 5 games above 500. So that'd be great.
agreed 100%. We will be back on Sunday with a recap of the 4 game series. After, by the way, we've been in the French Quarter all day, so that could be an epic podcast.
They better win. They better win 3 or 4.
And I think we will be I think we'll be back next week, right? With Kyle Reese and Kareem, which is going to be I have so many questions for those two guys. Those are two of my favorite humans out there, and I have so many questions for them right now that I can't wait to get their takes on because they are way more dialed in on guys who are not on the major league roster and who are potentially going to be on a minor league roster than I could ever be. So I can't wait to have them on.
Yep. And the draft's coming up, so that's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Yep. Awesome. All right, let's get out of here. All right, guys. Hey, if you're in town, go down, support everybody. Go down and support the Cardinals at Busch Stadium. I know it's been hot in the Midwest. It's hot down here in New Orleans, but go out, support. What a 4-day weekend of baseball. The Reds are in town against the Cardinals, two epic organizations. Go down, support it. Get our team. Let's take 3 or 4. Let's go. Go Cards.